Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to another tutorial on programming essentials in Python. In this video we are going to explain the use of tuples. So basically tuples in Python is similar to lists. They are sequence types, which means it is a data type that can store more than one variable, one value. Just like lists, it can store multiple values, but tuples, not like lists, they are immutable data types, which means they cannot be modified since they are created. So when you create the tuples, you cannot modify them later on. So we are going to start by demonstrating these concepts practically. Here we are going to start with how to create a tuple. So basically, if we are going to just create a tuple, I'm going to use several methods to create a tuple. First of all, you can create an empty tuple like this, and then you can create a tuple with values like these values here. I think you are noticing that the difference between tuples and lists, with lists we used to use square brackets, but with tuples, to differentiate it from lists, we are using parentheses. Okay, but remember, this is going to be only when you create them. When you access them, they're going to be using square brackets as usual, as you will see. The third way to create tuples is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm using integer values. However, you can use any data type. You can use floating point, you can use strings, characters, booleans, or you can mix each one of those, just like with lists. Now, what if you want to create a one tuple value? You cannot say that, because this is going to make tup4 an integer. So to make this a tuple, you have to add a comma here. This is going to create a one element tuple. So this is a one element tuple, as well as this method is also possible without using parentheses. There are other techniques to create tuples, for example, but it is not explained in your material, which is based on the PCAP Python Institute course, but you can always check them. You can use this method to create a new tuple. Okay, so now tuple, let's try these tuples. Let's try to print these tuples and see what's going to be the result. So I'm going to just try to print tuple 1, and then I'm going to copy this 4 more times, and then we are going to change the values to T3, T4, and T5, and you are going to see the result of each one of those. So as you can see here, the result is all parentheses, which means it is a tuple. So if you want to make sure that this is a tuple or not, you can use the type function, which is a built-in function in Python that can indicate or return the type of this data type. You see, this is the type tuple. Okay, even this is a tuple. You can try this out. If you want to print this, you can do it like that. Now this is how you create a tuple basically. Now the second thing about tuples, we need to know how to access tuples. Basically, accessing tuples is very similar, or could be identical to what you used to use in lists, and you can refer to the video explaining the list in my channel. Basically, now let's print some values of tuples, or specific values of tuples, to demonstrate the use of tuples. I'm gonna go for tuple 2 because tuple 1 is empty. I'm gonna select basically I will go for value number 2, index number 2, which is in this case 3, 0, 1, 2. It's gonna be 3. As you can see here, it is going to be 3. Let's add more values just to demonstrate other things. Now negative indexing is also possible, and this way it's gonna print 7, as you can see here, because 7 is the last value. So negative indexing is also possible. Slicing is also possible. I can go from 2 to 6. So 0, 1, 2, this is 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 has not been included. It's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 3, 4, 5, 6, but this time it's going to be between parentheses because it's more than one value. So this is how you access the tuples. As I said, it is exactly similar to what we used to do with lists. It supports positive indexing, negative indexing, and slicing. Okay, so this is how you access the tuples. You can basically do this similarly. Remember, when you create a tuple it is parentheses, but when you access them it is square brackets. Now, as we said, tuples are immutables, which means it does not support modification. So I cannot come and say tuple 1 dot append and give it a value. As you can see here, you're gonna have a syntax error because tuple object has no attribute append. There is no append function, as well as there is no insert function. I'm just demonstrating this just to show you that it is not possible practically, not only theoretically by speaking. So you see, even insert is not supported. You might say, okay, I don't want to do insert, I can do this. Tuple 2 of 1, which is this case 2, is going to equal to another value 24. This is also not possible. So as I said, you can create tuples, but since when you create them you cannot change them anymore. But what if you want to change tuples? Of course, there is a way. I'm not going to discuss it in this video. We can maybe discuss in other videos. You can change the tuple into a list, do the modification that you want, and then you change it back into a tuple, and there is a way to use this similarly to what we used to use with integer and float values. You can just let me show you quickly what do I mean by that. We can just say lst equals list of tuple 2, and now I'm gonna print lst to show you the result of this. You see now tuple 2 is changed to a list, and now I can just do the exact reverse thing by doing, I already discussed this here anyway. I said I'm not going to discuss it, but let's just show you how it works simply with this process. So I'm gonna just print this, Control C, Control V, and we are going to print a new tuple. And we're gonna know it's a tuple from the parentheses, not the square bracket. So you see, you can change it to the list, do the modification, insert, append, delete, whatever you want to do, and then you change it back into a tuple. Of course, tuple is very useful in scenarios when you want to create variables that cannot be changed intentionally or even by accident. Let me try one last thing here. You cannot delete from tuple. As again, I just want to show you all different scenarios here. You cannot delete, you cannot append, you cannot insert, you cannot change. You can just create and access to print or to do something else. I hope this was useful. Thank you very much for watching. See you in next tutorials, inshallah. Have a nice day.